Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about balancing a check register and writing a check. And as you can see on this page, on the left side is a check register and on the right side is a check. So first we want to talk about some vocabulary. Let's talk about a checking account. A checking account is a type of bank account in which people deposit or add money so they can make purchases and pay bills, and you can also make withdrawal or subtract money, which is your purchases and paying bills. Okay, so let's talk about checking accounts. There are two different ways that you can move money. You can move money in what's called a transaction, which is where you move it within the account, so making a deposit or withdrawal. Those are two different types of transactions. But then you have what's called a transfer when you're moving money from one account to another. So it's between two accounts. For example, a savings account to checking to a savings, maybe a savings to another savings, or a checking to another checking. It just depends on what you have. Let's talk about a check. So the parts of the check. You have the first part, which is your name and address. It's typically written on every check that you have. The company or person you're sending your money to, so that's the pay to the order of section. The current date, where you would write down what date it is that you are writing the check. The check number in the upper right-hand corner. The spending amount in decimal form. The spending amount in word form, and there is a reason why you need the decimal form and the word form. We'll talk about that very soon. Your signature. The check number again is at the bottom, along with your checking account number and your routing number. In most places, when you go to buy something, they will ask you for your routing number to take it from your checking account. Then you have your note to self, or basically who you're writing the check for or what you're writing it for. And finally, the bank name and address is typically on your check. So example 1, it says write a check to SAWS, the San Antonio Water System, to pay for your water bill for the month. You're writing the check today, April 27th, 2020, and it is for $95.34. So the first thing you're going to do is write down the name where it says pay to the order of San Antonio Water System. Then you're going to write the date, April 27th, 2020. The number for the amount that you're giving them, which is $95.34, and then the words, $95.34 over 100, and then you draw a line through to the end so that people cannot come in and write in extra numbers. And that's basically the reason why we have two different sets of numbers, the written and the numerical form, because you don't want somebody to put a comma where the period is and say that that's $95,340, because they could technically do that if you didn't have the word form. And most banks will not cash a check unless they see the word form written out. And they won't cash a check unless you have a signature. So basically, what is it for? The water bill for the month of May. I put May on there. It could be April. Who knows? It's whichever month it is that it wants you to do that. And Mrs. Heather Ford, which would be my signature. But when you do it, you typically write your signature in cursive so that it cannot be duplicated. You don't want to write it in print.